Hey BookTube, welcome to ShayAthon 2018, the week where I read a lot of books and don't listen to podcasts, don't watch BookTube, YouTube videos. Basically just all my media consumption this week is going to be reading, and try not to go nuts over it. Of course, I've done the silly thing and I've snatched up Fingersmith by Sarah Waters, which I won't blame Jason over at Old Blues chapter and verse for suggesting. Just struck my fancy, but for some reason I'm like, okay, that's what I'm gonna start off reading this week. And yes, luckily I'm not counting how many books I read, because it might be I'll just get a good ways through that one this week. I'll also probably do some audiobooks, and I'll probably have an ebook on the go too for all those other bits of period where I can't be carrying a book around, but I could cram in a little bit more reading. But yeah, I'm just gonna try and make like all the places where I would jam a podcast in, or I'd watch BookTube, or mostly BookTube videos. I'm gonna actually just read and see how that goes, see what that does to my consumption, and I guess also just like the intensity of reading. I think I have a very slow reader, and oftentimes I really take my time at stuff, which is the benefit of sort of really sinking into a text, but it also has the thing of I have trouble holding a text all together in my mind all at once. I'm finding that with the Brothers Karamazov. I have to go back and review my old videos to sort of remind me, because I've been reading the Brothers Karamazov for the last many months, and trying to remember what happened in the beginning. It's like, there's that introductory text of talking about like the first half and second half of the text, and well, that's a whole digression. But yeah, so it's going to be interesting this week of having a concentration, and of perhaps like with something like Fingersmith, hey, I'm going to take this down in as big a gulp as possible, try and hold the whole work in my mind, and I guess I'll come out the other end and I'll let you know about that book, and I'll let you know about other books. But I'll keeping you updated during the week. I'll just try and do one of these. Hopefully you'll click to day one next. Bye for now. Day two. So yes, I started off on my BookTubeathon. I posted that very silly video of me reading last night. Hopefully that wasn't too annoying and you just fast forwarded to the end and didn't watch me read for a whole 15 minutes. So I started Fingersmith. I've actually started a bunch of books. I've started Fingersmith by Sarah Waters. I started The Hunter by Richard Stark, pseudonym of Donald Westlake, the first one of the Parker books. After having read number 11, I thought, hey, let's go back and use that as my audiobook. I've also started, just as my super light reread, sort of my immemorial of catalyst reads of his readathons, is I picked up This Can't Be Happening in MacDonald Hall, which is like one of my very earliest favorite books. Very much a YA before there was YA, a boarding school novel, very Canadiana. I'm sure I'll get into that later, but super easy. As an ebook, because I also have an ebook, so I can just pull up my phone and be reading then, because this is a rereadathon and I gotta read. I've got Wave of Mutilation by Douglas Lain, which is sort of a slipstream sci-fi thing. Of course, it's set in 2002, I believe, so I'll actually have to start reading that. I've selected it, but I haven't really done anything. I think that's everything. I also picked up a couple of graphic novels at the library while I was there. Yes, this is me on my super enthusiastic day number one. My big goal, I think, is to try and get as much through Fingersmith as possible. I'll probably get through the audiobook because I have a lot of audiobook time. I'll probably get through MacDonald Hall. We'll see about the rest, but we'll go from there. So yeah, this is day one. And here I am, down on the dock. I'll go for a swim later, because just because you're reading doesn't mean you shouldn't have the swim. Public dock. This isn't like the dock for my mansion. I wouldn't film on that one. My mansion dock is private. It's just for me. All right. See you on day two. Take me to the bridge. It's day two of my ShayAthon. And let me give you, I guess, the update from what happened on day one. Yes, I took the dogs for a walk. I did a bit of reading. Went to the souk Fine Art Show, which I guess the Bookish Connection is one of the jury judges for that, was Neil Bantock, and indeed one of his pictures, his paintings was there, mixed media things was there, a painting with a rabbit's head coming out of it, called The Artful Dodger, which is of course The Artful Dodger from Oliver Twist, I believe, Dickens, which links me up to Fingersmith, of which I am only about 85 pages in, and we're on day 2, which means I'm right under schedule. And because of my odd stuff, my odd schedule, this is my last day of my days off, and I'll be working for the rest. So most likely I won't even be getting 80 pages a day in on that sort of thing. Tilt there. I've been definitely kicking along with the Hunter by Donald Westlake, writing as Richard Stark. Very noir. First novel of the Parker novels, and I'm enjoying that in a kind of amoral, death-dealing, ruthless killer kind of way. I've also started a graphic novel just to pile on things. Hark, a Vagrant by Kate Beaton, which is more as I seem to get a lot of my Canadiana from graphic novels. This is, I guess, a connection of strips, but I'm going to call it a graphic novel just to, so it counts as a book in my way. Yeah, so I'm chugging along on day 2. It's interesting, keeping myself away from podcasts, keeping myself away from YouTube. Haven't felt the bite yet. Starting to get those kind of the feelings of like pre-internet days, kids out there, where it was books. That was what I had to entertain myself and what I focused on, and it's nice to have that focus at the moment. Even if the rest of my life is pretty much going along as usual, I'm not doing anything too terribly different. Just kind of taking a step back from that is sort of an interesting thing. So yes, that's day number 2. In ShayAthon. How things pop in. Hey, BookTube, it's Shay for the ShayAthon Books Day 3. And here's my little update for today. I finished The Hunter, the first of the Parker books, which interestingly enough did follow a little bit of the pattern of the number 11, which I guess, if you find a formula that works, that's the way to go. Super bright here. There. Put myself slightly in shadow. Ooh, very dramatic. Yeah, so I'll probably have more thoughts on that I'll do a full review at some point. But I enjoyed. It was actually a little bit more disturbing than number 11. I think Parker is a little bit more hardcore here in number 1. Not surprisingly, perhaps you soften up as you go along with someone who's a psychopath in book 1 will become cute and not really cute and cuddly in book 11, but slightly less psychopathic, or that sociopathic, or one of those words. But yeah, so I'm enjoying that. I think I'm on page 170, just after having left for my morning walk here of Fingersmith, which I'm enjoying. Very Dickensian Woman in White, but there's that different twist to it. I think without spoilers, I can say like sort of an LGBT thing, which is sort of nice to have what seems to be a very meticulously researched thing of Victorian England, but to show us characters, both poor characters and characters who are not straight or don't have to speak in as much code and be as hidden, cloaked to do that, but also have to have all these kind of the duplicitous plots. A very familiar plot, I think, to a lot of people who are in Victorian stuff, at least so far. I guess I'll see how it goes as I go along. So yeah, doing a couple little bits of MacDonald Hall before I go to sleep, which is kind of a very silly kind of grade school kind of book. I said YA yesterday, but it's a grade school book. Usually it was just you did grade school books, and then you just sort of mostly you just jumped into adult books before YA, and I think that's the bridge. So yeah, I'm enjoying that. That's kind of fun. I don't know if it's a pacing thing. me taking it so slow, it's dragging a little bit, but who knows, maybe that means I've slightly outgrown This Can't Be Happening in MacDonald Hall, a wacky boarding school comedy. Yeah, so that's basically me on day 3. Still enjoying the respite from my compulsive YouTube and podcasting listening. I've started another audiobook to just get me going. The 2,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Is it 2,000 Leagues or 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea? I'll update you tomorrow. Bye for now. It's day 4. Ooh, and the wind picks up, which probably means you'll get more wind-tossed me, which, you know, really isn't wind-tossed me, it's just wind slightly brushing across the microphone me. So yes, day 4. Nothing has happened on day 4. I haven't, well actually no, I listened to a little bit of 2,000 Leagues Under the Sea, probably walking down here. Ow, I'm getting bitten by bugs. My God, this filming outdoors is just a nightmare, as you can see from the horrific scenes around me. So yeah, I've listened to a little bit of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea by Jules Verne, very ably narrated by Frederick Davidson, who I think is the dude to go to for stuff like this, nautical stuff like this. Which, hey, might as well start off by that. I'm about 4 hours in, and while Verne does like to go on about, the wonders of electricity and things like that, he's also definitely a sense of wonder kind of dude in the science fiction realm, which, sense of wonder for all you non-science fiction dudes out there, is just that kind of the awe of nature, the awe of technology, and really communicating that. And actually, he's quite good at that. He does have a tendency to go on and want to explain the details of every single damn thing, which can be a little bit tiresome. It's nice to listen to it on audio where you can sort of let it zoom by. But he also has these beautiful scenes, like there's an underground sea forest, and just all the flora and fauna, which is yeah, I'm quite enjoying, and I'm semi-enjoying Arnorax and his Korman, and of course you got the French-Canadian Ned Landers, so all that, and there's the mysterious Nemo, which I'm sure we'll learn more about as we go along. Don't give it away from me at home, kids. But yeah, so that's all I've done today. Yesterday it was my first work day, so yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to see exactly how readathon-y this is gonna be. Just because, as for work goes, I've got to unfortunately go to work and get all that done. So we'll see. I'm getting observed now from someone watching me, and actually I think they're more interested in the dogs than they are in me. But yes. So that's my day 4 so far. That was what happened in day 3. I read before I went to work. I came home, I was tired, I read a little bit, and then yes, I went to bed. So we'll see. I'm hoping to get Fingersmith done before the end of the week. I think that's my biggest goal. Get one hard book that is a full big book done, and we'll just have to see how that goes. See you on day 5. Hey BookTube, it's day 5 of my ShayAthon. Of course, I think I've hit that point of the realization that, yes, Fingersmith, while I will probably get a good ways into it, is probably not going to be dusted and done by the end of my readathon, but I'm going to try and kind of hold on to that. I do think one of the tenets that I slightly lost track of there of my ShayAthon is this is all about me just, hopefully not reading a ton of books, not reading as fast as I can just to get through stuff, but to actually enjoy reading, and to, take a step back from other media just to enjoy books and enjoy the reading, which I've most definitely been doing. And Fingersmith has been an excellent kind of hard copy, real tree based book reading has been excellent, and I've enjoyed my other reads as I'm going along, my audiobooks, Richard Stark, Donald Westlake. Richard Stark is the pseudonym of Donald Westlake, and Jules Verne at the moment, which are all going really wonderfully, and I'm getting through quite a bit of Jules Verne. I think I'm like about 8 hours in, so it shows exactly how much other media I consume and how much it gives me. So yes, day 5. I'm not going to be the super fastest, having read 500 books by the end of my readathon, but I'm going to have read the number of books that I've read, and I'm going to enjoy them, and I'll be punking out little videos on each, sort of telling you what I thought about them, and if if any actual coherent stuff came up, I'll let you know. So yes, here on the dock again. My not my private dock. Yeah, I don't use my private dock, but the public dock, on a very calm day. All that water, you can see the reflection, I think, of the ocean, the sky there, which is quite nice. So yes, on a kind of a calm Zen morning, that's where I'm at. I'm gonna walk the dogs, then go home and read a bit, go off to work, come home, be very tired, read a little bit of Fingersmith, and continue. But yeah, just read. That's where I'm at. All right, see you day 6. Hello, day 6. Wow, we're into the dying days of the ShayAThon. It started so recently, and now it's gone. Oh, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. Yes, here I am for the penultimate day of the ShayAThon, and what have I got to say? Fingersmith is inching along. Actually, tomorrow I have a day off because I have a weird schedule. So who am I fooling? Maybe I'll get another 50 or 60 pages done of Fingersmith. It's a book which, once you've started it, you can't actually talk about it. I think the first rule of Fingersmith is one does not talk about Fingersmith and reveal anything about it. So I just it's one of these books that I believe Jason at Old Chapters and Verse just urged people to not read anything about, just pick up the book and start reading it. That's the way to go, and I would definitely second that. For the 250 pages I'm into it, that seems to be, I would say, the definite thing to do. And I think I will have to do a spoiler-filled review. Spoiler, don't watch this. Even if you've read the book, don't read this because it might spoil you even then. So yeah, that's where I am with Fingersmith. I finished 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, though it's 20,000 leagues, it's not like down, it's like 20,000 leagues, all over the place, which, I don't know if that's false advertising or just something that was lost in the translation. That's my major disappointment with the book. Other than that, I'll give you the review later. Yes, I've started Free Lunch by my groovy hippie grandpa sci-fi guy Spider Robinson, who is also doing the narration for it. And Spider is an amazing narrator, so I'm enjoying that. It's Mike going behind the scenes of a theme park called Dreamland, I believe. Interestingly enough, you could say it's a metaphor for going behind the scenes of fiction, of not just taking fiction as face value, but wanting to know like how the stagecraft works behind it. And there's people for that like, no, I just want to, read the book and enjoy, and not really have to, delve further under the surface, think about the craft and stuff like that. Whereas I have a feeling there's a lot of people on BookTube who are very much about, it increases my enjoyment to know how the trick is done. However imperfectly and however clumsily, I believe why I do these videos is to enjoy the craft. Yeah, so that's where I am on the penultimate day of ShayAthon, and I will see you tomorrow for the final day. Maybe I'll do a video at the beginning of the day and then a big video at the end of the day, just to give you my little sum up there, and yeah, we'll go from there. I haven't planned this out, as you can see. Maybe it'll be all smoothed out in editing, or I'll do is what I said, which is I'll just go blup, blup, blup. Maybe I can put up little text and stuff, little funny comments in the side. If I can learn a couple of editing techniques during this thing, which I probably then won't end up using later on. I will, because the main thing I like to do is just sit in front of the camera and talk about books, and editing's for people who, care about their viewers, and oh, poor viewers. I guess I don't really care about you. See you tomorrow. All right. It's day 7 of ShayAthon, the morning of. So yes, yesterday as predicted, I went home, I read a little bit, I went to work, I found some little interstitial things to do, just to kind of get a little bit further along on A Wave of Mutilation by Douglas Lain, a little ebook that I have on the phone here, just to kind of push in to the little lull times. And then I came home and I read Fingersmith a little bit more Fingersmith. I'm not even up to page 300 yet on that. We're at day 7, the final day, and it's another 200 or more pages to go. So yes, as predicted, Fingersmith will most likely will run over my time, but that's all fine and good. I've gotten a good start on it. Woke up this morning, woke up early, and I lay in bed and I read the rest of Wave of Mutilation. That was a good thing. And usually it's funny, I have mornings where I'll do that, where I'll wake up and it's like, oh, and I'll just read for an hour or so, just laying in bed, which is quite handy when it's an ebook. There's one of my co-stars, my poor unwilling co-stars that have had to suffer through me filming in the middle of their dog walk, which you know, you have to feel sorry for. So that's why we're getting mooned at the moment. Is she's gonna Shira there is just gonna let it be known they are definitely the co-stars of the ShayAthon. So yes, I read the rest of Douglas Lain's book. A very interesting and odd book, set in that period of indecision there in the Gore-Bush election at the very end, where we didn't know who was going to win, and they were counting those hanging chads or not counting those hanging chads. And yes, it's a very odd place in history, odd place in my own personal history, and I'll be giving you all my sparkling insights into that soon. Then I got up and I sat in the garden and I read A Castle in Scotland, which I'd also made a slight start on, and yeah, that was an interesting book, a good book to read in the garden while little munchkin here was giving me all the kisses and stuff like that. Yes, see, that was a recreation provided by little nostril cleaner here. Yes, oh, see, not the only dog. Well, she's not as mighty as some dogs we've seen on the internet, Frida. But yes, so that's basically what I've done. I finished 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I'm mostly all the way through Free Lunch. That will easily get dusted done on my walk here with the folks, with the little fellers here. So yeah, that's where I am. I'll give you my grand summing up at the end of the day. See what Shira's eating in the background here. Something horrible, disgusting, and terrible for her, which will hopefully she'll survive, because God, she survived so much. So yes, day 7, the morning. Yes, we'll go from there. All right. See you later. God, I'm gonna edit this so hard. Hey, it's the evening of day 7. Yes, as predicted, Fingersmith is up to about page 300, but no further shall I go. Well, probably have a bath tonight and I'll have a nice read, but it's like a 500 and something page book, so yes, unsurprisingly I won't finish that. However, in addition to Fingersmith, I also read 7 other books. So that's This Can't Be Happening, MacDonald Hall, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, The Hunter, Free Lunch, Hark of Vagrant, Castle in England, and A Wave of Mutilation. So that's 7 books. Well, you know, short ebook, a couple of graphic novels, a grade school book, which I selected just because it was going to be an easy read, and I was like, this was my week of reading, but I wanted to make sure I had things to read of sort of all different levels. So if I was super brain dead, I could read something super light. And yeah, that worked out well. And it was nice to have a week where it was just focusing on reading, to peel back a lot of the other not distractions, but other media that I listen to, that I read for entertainment, and to kind of focus on reading. And it was a good thing for my ShayAthon. Thanks to Dane Reads again for christening that. I've latched on to this. This is my identity now. The ShayAthon. And it was just, it's I think, you know, of things to do on BookTube, here's a really great project of focusing on reading, and maybe hopefully becoming a bit better of a reader, or just, like, you know, using the mindfulness of talking to the camera, doing these videos to say, okay, let's use that to kind of focus on reading. You know, I've been out of school for a long time, and you know, back when I was getting a BA in English, and you had to kind of focus on the reading, and, you know, they forced you to kind of just buckle down and really kind of get stuff, and then have to focus and think about works and kind of come up with coherent thoughts. And it's nice to do that without all the tuition and that kind of, and all the other kind of nonsense that goes along with school, but to have the fun stuff, and to have fun classmates like all the other booktubers out there. But you know what I mean, you know, study mates, all us folk who are devoted to the written word, to the spoken word, to story, and to the nonfiction out there as well, which is another sort of story. It's all Steve Donahue talks about, you know, made up stories, but I strongly believe in there's a very creative part of the there's a craft in it all, and there's a making stuff real, whether it's fiction or nonfiction. And I think the best of it does that. It lives in your mind, and it awakens you. And yeah, it's been a nice further awakening this week. So yes, that's ShayAthon 2018. Long may ShayAthon reign. Oh, and don't shake my fist while I'm holding the camera. More videos later. Except here's day 8. Here's the funny thing. I found that I didn't actually have a great urge to pop in get the podcast going again, get the YouTube video watching again. I was the very dying hours of ShayAthon, and it was like, oh, I finished the audiobook Free Lunch, and it was like, but I'm not done yet. So I started another audiobook. I'm still reading Fingersmith, and I got to today, and I wasn't just feeling it. I was not feeling like I just don't want it. I don't want it to end. And I'm the official administrator of ShayAthon, and I can set the rules, and the only participant I have to please is myself. So I've decided to extend my. I've decided that a week in ShayAthon world is going to be 14 days instead of 7 days, and yeah. So I'm continuing. I'm continuing for a week. I cracked open some video editing software, the finest free video software editing stuff, which I think I've quickly gone, yeah. At first I thought, I'm going to make it, you know, edited to perfection. Then I went, no, I've scaled back again to my, I'm going to just try and make this as most basic as possible, but I'll edit together those 7 days and whatever little clips of this, and probably just a final update of the 14 days. I promise at 14 days I'll just give up, and I'll post this to YouTube and let it rest. I'm sure, and just go from there. But so yeah, I'm going for another week of just reading and listening to audiobooks and all things bookish, and leaving off the other media for a while, because I've been enjoying this so much, and it's been so nice. So why stop? I get to set my own rules, and that's what I'm going with. So yes, I will give you a little capper at the end of my 14-day week, and then hopefully you'll see this. Unless well, you'll see this. We'll go with that. All right. See you later.